sponsored by Black Magic Design, the world's highest quality products for the feature film, post, and broadcast industries. blackmagicdesign.com.
Let's get right into it. You've been telling View Askew Universe stories for 30 years, and now you've decided to tell what is essentially your own story. Why now?
I mean, to be fair, even the View Askew Universe stories are me and mine, right? Like fucking Clerks is about as autobiographical, probably more so than the 4:30 movie. Chasing Amy, same thing. So I've always like stolen liberally from real life in order to tell stories. I'm not very inventive or original. I'm like, this happened to me. Like, let me make a whole ass movie about it. And so for me, it doesn't feel much different than the other ones in terms of the impetus, in terms of how much it steals from real life. Like the Saban folks in their press materials, like, it's the most personal movie to date. And I guess maybe they're right in as much as they're versions of my parents in the movie or something. But all the movies for me, I've always played them personally. And so this one kind of, I probably feels more so because it's like he owns the movie theater. It's in that way, it's kind of like a variation on Clerks. I didn't own the Quick Stop, but I did work at a place where the location dictated the film. Like before there was an idea of making the movie, there was the location. The location gave birth to the idea of making the movie. It's just like Quick Stop gave birth to Clerks. Smodcastle Cinemas gave birth to 4:30 movie because I was like, oh shit, man, we have our own location. We could shoot a movie here. And I know the guy, so it'll be cheap. So it's not so much me going like, well, I'm 54 and it's time to look back. I've been looking back since the first movie. And I'll be honest with you, I've been looking back since I was in single digits. I remember being like reminiscent and nostalgic for an episode of Happy Days when it ended once when I was a kid. So that's always been my makeup, looking back. And I think I figured out in this movie, I think because most of the movies I made for the last decade, I've been high while I've been making them. And this movie, I was not. I was like crisp the whole fucking movie, man, just like a cat and shit, like that cat behind you. But
she doesn't look very crisp.
No, now she's like, oh, he's talking, I'm going to sleep. But for me, it was, I think I figured it out. I've spent my life, 30 years of a career now, trying to capture moments and feelings that impacted me deeply and shifted the narrative and changed me for who I was. And so, when you look at Clerks, that's it. That's me trying to be like, hey, this happened and this happened, this happened. Same thing with here, same thing with 4:30 movie. But on 4:30 movie, more so than trying to convey it with ass-loaded dialogue and clever things and fucking, some dirty shit you never heard before or whatnot. It's me trying to dial in and capture how it all felt more than anything else. And capturing that artificially. It's crazy. Like I was sitting there on set going like, this shit happened to me. And now here I am like decades later with a crew and cameras and people that I'm like, you pretend to be me and you pretend to be him and and lie about who you are with fake names and pretend it's the 80s. Now go, and putting it through that filter of artifice, trying to show people like this profound moment that impacted me. Does it still work? Does it do the same for you? And it's nice, but it's also bittersweet because then you take these moments that are authentic and real to you and they become cheap facsimiles of the real thing, but the closest you can approximate with the means that you have. We don't have time machines, but we do have cameras, so we can kind of, make our version of it. And for the rest of my life, I will interact with these movies and audiences watch them and move on to other movies, but they'll stay vital in my world. I'll be talking about them as if we just made them the other day for the rest of my life. And so I'll bump into these moments, while I'm showcasing the movie or doing a Q&A or just trying to do research for another movie I'm making, going back and watching that flick. And then I see this artificial version of the moment that happened to me in real life. And I get this like warm smile of like, oh shit, that was something I gave up. Like it was so important to me that I wanted to give it up. And it's a bittersweet trade because it's no longer yours and it belongs to everybody else, but that's a good thing because then you hope that it translates. And I think that's why over the course of my career over 30 years, when it didn't connect and it felt so personal, because it's like, no, this is me trying to show you something beautiful. And it's, even when you're trying to make people laugh, it's a similar thing because most of the funny conversations I'm trying to set up are funny conversations, variations of funny conversations that I've had. So I've always been trying to pull from real life. I mean, not even trying. That's all I could fucking do. God forbid somebody's like, tell an original story. I'd be like, I don't know how to do that. And I imagine I'll be doing that for the rest of my life as well. Right now, I'm writing a thing though that doesn't pull from my real life at all. It can happen. Like Red State didn't pull from my life. I didn't live through those events and shit. Dogma, even though that never happened to me, the Catholicism of it all, that did kind of happen to me. But I know I should, as a storyteller, be trying to improve my storytelling craft all the time, and reaching for Oscars or shit like that. But for me, it's enough to do what I've been doing for the last 30 years. Like, it's when it connects, it's fucking magical. When it doesn't connect, it's heartbreaking. But you always get another chance. Well, you hope you get another chance. You know what? You don't always get another chance. Can't fucking count on that, because a lot of people I came up with ain't doing the job anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people have to wait for permission, but I came up in indie film. So that's not the mindset I was born in. My mindset was born in, like, I don't need fucking permission. I'm just going to do a thing. So it's always heartbreaking to me to see, like, my fucking betters, people who are better at this fucking job than I am, not doing it because they haven't been given the money or the permission, and they just don't know another way at the job. Mercifully for me, it's like, if I can't get this money, I'll drop the budget in the toilet and we'll do it for this money, but it will get done, because it's not about making perfection. The reason I've been doing it for 30 years is because I've got two magic fucking words, man, that fucking help make any Kevin Smith movie. Good enough. Like, most people, like, Nolan, nothing's good enough for Nolan. He has to go for perfection, and that's why he's the filmmaker he is, and he makes great films. I'm the other guy. I'm like, that's good enough. Like, we shoot a thing and I'm like, that's good enough. That's fuck it. Everyone happy? Moving on. And then you go forward. If I was waiting for, no, we got to get the perfect moment, we have to capture the perfect shot, I wouldn't be here having this conversation. Good enough will take you 30 years into a career. And it's too late to change that mindset now. And I wouldn't want to, because it really paved the road for me. I'm glad there are people out there that go for exceptional filmmaking, and make the cast and crew take the journey with them. Sometimes they suffer for it, but whatever. The art is the all important thing. Nobody should ever suffer for a fucking Kevin Smith movie. So good enough will take you far. And it's taken me 3 decades and 16 movies. So far, so good enough.
Excellent. Well, we are out of time, but
shit.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this, and we'll talk again soon.
Such a pleasure. Good seeing you. Bye to the kids.
Thank you.
This is the BTRP Media Network.